Meet Nolene. She worked as a prostitute in Cape Town for over a decade. With the help of a Christian ministry, Nolene has been drug-free and out of prostitution for 5 years. Although she moved into a safe house 8 years ago, she spent her first 3 years returning often to the streets. She still lives in that same safe house today with her 10-year-old son. Nolene is now a qualified chef, though her heart's desire is to reach out to women in prostitution.
I was an A student at school, I was a prefect. I had ambitions like a normal person. I wanted to be a teacher.
Nolene attributes her entry into prostitution to a broken home and an abusive stepfather.
My mother remarried when I was about 13. It's a very difficult age as it is. And this man used to make me touch him, and I'll never forget that. So that was already an open door. It's already that boundary was broken, was violated.
Nolene gives us her definition of prostitution based on her experience in the business.
The very last resort. It's like being subjected to rape over and over and over and over and over again.
Nolene weeps when she speaks about how she escaped prostitution.
The Lord moved in somebody else's heart. This woman felt that she needed to open a home. And I said to her, when you do, just get hold of me, I'll be the first one there. And she had patience with me. I mean, I went back into the streets so many times and she took me back in.
She's emphatic about the link between substance abuse and prostitution.
It was the drugs more than anything that called me back. Every time I went back, I'd go and use, and then I'd go back. I had to use first. I couldn't go back without using.
Owen is a former superintendent of the Sunnyside police station in Pretoria. He was in the police force for 27 years and ran the social crime prevention unit in this, one of the country's most dangerous suburbs. Prostitution is rife in Sunnyside. Based on his experience, Owen believes that decriminalizing prostitution in South Africa would be disastrous. He is very concerned about the links between prostitution and drug abuse.
I would say 95% of prostitutes, male and female, are involved in some form of drug abuse. The dependence on that is absolutely paramount to them because they cannot cope with it in any other way.
Owen confirms Nolene's comment that prostitution is inherently dangerous and believes that decriminalizing prostitution will further endanger those caught in it.
Unfortunately, there's a fairy tale world out there and there's the reality. The reality is many times the girls endure rape, they endure beatings by these very people that come and use their services. So who's going to protect these girls then? Firstly, the drug lord is not going to have his control that he has over the girl if she's not kept on some form of drug, number one. If this girl's got her senses about her, she's going to be on her own out there. As closing a car door, a flat door, whatever, wherever they end up, it's absolutely, she's still going to be put in danger's way. It's like putting a deer in a lion's den, and she's going to be absolutely at risk.
Owen is convinced that decriminalizing prostitution would be detrimental not only to prostitutes, but to the South African public at large.
The drug lords are not suddenly going to become, squeaky clean, and it's absolutely going to just get worse and worse out there, and that's going to give them more of a reason to try and continue because they're going to say it's not against the law.
Owen takes us onto the streets of Pretoria, where pimps operate with impunity and underage girls are a dime a dozen. It's a sneak preview of decriminalized prostitution. Owen says that drug lords and pimps own these streets, and the women who work these streets are their property.
Okay, a typical night for the girls entails maybe fetching between 5 and 6 customers. They charge for full house sexual favors in the region of 250 Rand. And it's not uncommon for the girls to earn 3,000 Rand a night. The set rule is that these girls don't even see that money coming from, it goes straight to the pimp and the drug lord. She gets her free drugs, keeps her tanked up. That's all she's interested in, is just being fed with a drug. And he just turns her over. So the money that she makes on the street there physically, the pimp's going to take it.
With our camera concealed, Owen approaches a child prostitute, aged 14 or 15. She looks terrified.
Hello, how are you? How much are you charging? How much? 100 rand. For what is it? Full house. Yeah, but it's okay. It's okay. Is it 100 rand full house? And condom? Do you charge more for the condom? No. Okay, thanks.
Later, we come across another girl who appears to be underage. It becomes apparent that these girls will do anything for money. And even in a country with one of the highest HIV infection rates, condoms are an optional extra.
Lustig en alleen, man.
Hoeveel charge jy?
50 rand vir 'n blowjob en 100 rand vir 'n lijs.
50 vir 'n blowjob. En 100 rand vir?
'n vol lijs.
Okay. En hoe oud is jy?
Sylvia?
Hoe oud is jy?
Wat is raai?
14.
Ek sien nie 20.
Not a damn.
Ek sien nie 20.
Is dit?
Ja.
En moet ek 'n kondoom dra?
Vir 'n blowjob is dit met of sonder.
Ja. Okay. Okay, thanks for.
We asked Eric Harper from Sweat for a possible explanation as to why all the former prostitutes we've interviewed are fiercely against the decriminalization of prostitution.
The one argument is that there are some sex workers who don't want the industry criminalized. I mean, want the industry to remain criminalized because then they don't have to pay taxes. My hunch is that what their concern is around the coercive and abusive elements that can occur in the sex industry. And the last possible explanation would be that in terms of the people helping them or the organizations helping them, there may be a certain commitment that if you're going to be part of our organization that you then have to subscribe to a philosophy of exiting.
Nolene shares her vision to reach women on the streets.
I want to be able to go out and reach these girls and say to them, prostitution doesn't define who they are, that they have other options, that there's something better for them.
Nolene was right. We could not find one woman on the street that was able to convince us that she really wanted to be there.
And I mean, if God would provide me with a place tomorrow, I promise you, I will change.